This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So any scenarios are pending as of now? No scenarios pending, right? So let's discuss about few new concepts before to start other functions and all. Okay. Let's place category to placing two measures side by side here. Okay. So when you're placing two measures side by side, it creating two different axes for two measures, correct? So we can create a combinational charts. Combinational chart means what? With a single visualization, we can able to create a one bar and one line is possible with a dual axis. Right click on it. Right click on the second measure and then select an option dual axis. For better practice, remove the category, replace that with subcategory. Okay. Here mark type by default it has taken circles. Let's change the mark type to bar for sales, line for profit. Let's swap this. So if similarly, let's try to create a visualization, placing subcategory into the columns, sales into the rows, profit into the rows. If you look at these two visualizations, sheet 2 and sheet 3, what is the difference? Here when you are placing these two, it is having two independent axes. Okay, complete independent. Whereas comes to sheet 2, this we will name this as a dual axis. Okay, here what is happened? Two measures compared against with the two axes. If you look at the axis point for is different because this represents sales, this represents profit. Let's synchronize this. Before to that, let me duplicate this. Yeah. So now right click on the second axis. Why I'm doing synchronization? Because sales has a different ranges for each subcategory. So sales has highest sales more than 3,35,000. So profits it's around more than 50k, 56,000 of profit, highest profit for a subcategory. So that's the reason two different axis points we have. So we can synchronize both the axis points. Let's right click on this. There is an option synchronize axis. Using this, you can synchronize both the axes. Got it? Now you can remove one of the axis. Remove the show header. Okay. So now this is representing only for sales. If you look at the name of the axis. So I don't want to replay show like a sales. Let's right click on it. Edit axis. Here title we have. Just remove the title. You can make this as a value so that it can be used for both the axes. Got it? So one more thing you should understand here, these two are same, dual axis 1, dual axis 2, correct? But what is the difference? This is a synchronized and we replaced with only single axis. In actual dual axis there will be two axis points. The combinational visualizations can be shown in the dual axis. One measure can be shown with a bar and another measure can be shown with a line. Got it? So like the way you can able to create visualizations, this is called dual axis. So let's create one more axis, sales. Okay, now here I'm dragging profit on top of left side axis. Here usually we will drop here, correct? Now I'm not dropping there. I'm dropping the profit on top of the axis like this the way. So when you are dropping here, what is happening? Measures are showing against with only one axis. All the measures are blended into one axis. That is called blended axis. So for better understanding, let's go with the line. On the data, let's place a sales. Let's place profit on top of it. Okay. So if you want, let's filter out for latest year. Let's filter it out for month. Okay. Now, so if you look at sheet 5 here, what we are doing? We are placing month into the columns, and that too we are filtering only for latest year 2023. Okay. So when you're dragging a measure, the next measure, you're dragging the next measure on top of the existing axis of the measure, so that measures are blended onto the single axis. Let's try for one more measure. Now I'm dragging one more measure on top of a existing axis. I'm blending the other measure onto the axis. Yes. So let's drag a quantity as well. If you look at these are the measure names. So using the highlighter option, you can able to highlight your respective measure. But if you look at mark type is commonly applied. Mark type selected as line. So by default, it is commonly applied. You are not authorized to change mark type independently for any measure. What is this concept? This is a blended axis. What is a blended axis? Blending multiple measures onto the single axis called as a blended axis. So if you look at how many axis points we have, only one axis point, correct? That is a blended axis. What is a dual axis? There will be two axis points and two measures can be plotted against with the two axis. We can create a combinational graph using dual axis. We can also create a what can also synchronize the axis, to maintain single single axis for both measures. Okay. Hmm. So in general, in the dual axis, when you are checking for any pointer, so this is the point you are checking now. For example, this is the profit value. So if it is not in the synchronization, so when you are verifying this, you have to verify against with the respect to measure axis. You should not verify against with this and should not get confused. Like here, the point is more than 300K. It is showing the value as 56,094. Okay, so it must be verified against with the respective axis. If you're checking for profit, against with the profit axis, like this the way, because users will get confused sometimes when they are using this axis. Okay, so like this the way you can able to create a blended axis and a dual axis. Let's create a calculated field. Now if you look at we discussed about to rank functions, windows functions, correct? Those all are table calculated functions, lookup, total, but there are n number of other functions which are categorized into various types. So let's discuss one by one. So this is a number functions, this is a string functions. So under the number functions, okay, what is the abs function? Which returns absolute value of the given number. If the value having negative sign, it shows only the number, that is a 7. This is the example here. So this is the a cos of a specific any number. These are the uh, trigonometric functions. A sin, a tan 2. Okay. Mostly we don't use that. If you have trigonometric idea, you can get a full idea on that. Okay. This is a ceiling function. So cos, cot, leave those. If you want, I can explain. So this is a div. Let's discuss one by one. ABS of -1, ABS of 1. So what is happening? Why it is showing 10,194? What is happening here? I wrote the function ABS. According to the function ABS, so what it has to return? ABS of -1, I have taken the example. So returns the absolute value of the given number. When I take -1, it has to return +1. So, but it is returning 10,194. What is the issue? Krishna Prasanna, Mohan, Sridhar. Why it is showing
Uh,
10,000?
if there is any record -1 in the it considering
Any record?
-1 with particular value in that sample store, that is a considering. But
Which value it takes? It is just a function, right? You are not passing
yes,
any measure name into that. It is just a function. You are passing the number -1.
It actually should give only one actually.
So what is happening here? When you are writing the calculation, you should understand this. When a function returning a value, that value will be returned for all the records. Yes, absolutely, this function executing and returning the value 1, but this one number is allocated. As I said, our Tableau executes each function record by record. You are not running on table calculated functions. This is normal function. Normal function executes record by record. In underlying data source, how many records you have? Order count.
17 records are there.
What 17 records? 10,194 records we have in underlying
Okay.
data source. Your function returning value 1, that is correct. 1 is returned for how many records? 10,194 record. For each record, your function get executed and it returns result. Got it? So when you're dragging that to the sheet, it performs a sum. So summing of 10,194 is equal to, I mean 1 into 10,194 is equal to 10,194. So when you're dragging a measure into the report, what happens? Tableau default performs sum as a default aggregation. Correct? This is a default aggregation here. So obviously it will return 10,194 only. To overcome that, what we have to do? So there are two ways. Either you have to go with the average. So when you go with the average, how many records has this value? 10,194 records has the same value. So some value by division number of records that returns a exact value. Otherwise you should define this as a dimension. Okay, so whenever you are writing the calculations, whenever you are embedding this type of result into some other calculation, you should aware if you perform some what it returns. So is that returns in the increased count of the output, or do you need to manipulate anything? Okay, so like this the way your example works. Okay, like this the way function, the result of the function allocate value to all the records. Got it? Okay, let's this is the div function. So what is the div function? Returns the integer part of a division. Integer part of a division. So 11 by 2. What is the division here? 5 is a division number. Correct? 2 5 is a 10. 1 is a reminder. Got it? So what is the division part that can be extracted using the div function? So for example, div of, give me one example, 35 comma 7. What it is returning? 5. So after 5, how many digits we have? Decimal places? 3 decimal places we have. So when you don't want 3 decimal places, so we can format this. Go to the format here, go to the pane, here number format, number custom. So it is taking 2 decimals. Let's make it as a 0 decimal point. Got it? So this is a report to level format. So when you have more than I mean n number of decimal points, let's I made the calculation. So by default, I'm a developer. So if anyone make it ready to start changes, they want to make, let's they don't want to confuse on this, so I will go with the default formatting. So that's the reason when you place it returns 5. Got it? So in any sheet, if you drag this, the default format is already set up for this. Correct? Right click on it, default properties, number format. So here you can set up accordingly. So this is the default format. So no need to change the format every time. Got it? Like this, the way you can able to make a change to get exact value of your function result. Okay. So the division number can be extracted using the div function. Let's category, subcategory, let's place a sales. I just want to understand, if I right click here, if I select a minimum, what happens? What is your expectation? If I select
Minimum
a
sales.
minimum, minimum, that's okay.
Minimum.
Minimum sales will show now. So is that shows, I mean, your understanding, this minimum sale is 8532. So 8532 will be shown in the report, something like that
No, no, no. For it applied for entire.
for all the subcategories you are saying.
Yeah.
Let's again place the sales. Let's try for max. What it is returning. So did you identify what is happening here?
Yeah. So for each, for example, it's a table. In the tables,
Yeah,
2.21 is the minimum sale and 4298 is the max sales. So for the subcategory wise, it's showing the sales.
yeah, exactly. So if you look at bookcases, bookcases repeated for how many times in underlying source? 232 times. So bookcases has 232 sales values, correct? In which the least sales value is 35.49, one record, and maximum sales record is 4405, correct? So if you perform sum of sale amounts of 232 records, the value is this one, 1,15,361. Got it? Similarly for chairs as well, same. So if you look at where is the highest, phones. Phones has how many records? 903 records. Let's assume in the phones, one of the phone having the price 2.21, one of the phone having the price 4,549. Okay, a customer sold least phone category, that is 2.21 dollars. So one another person $4,549 is spent for one phone. Okay, so what happens? The least sold phone will be the minimum, and the maximum sold phone will be the maximum value. Got it? But there are 903 records. That might be based on the different order dates. That might be based on different customer orders. Got it? So if you sum 903 record sales of all the phones products, that will be 3,31. Got it? So like the way, because you should be very clear when you are performing min and maximum. Min of sales. it's a min of not sum of sales. This is the sum of sales. This is the sum of sales. This is not a min of sum of sales. Correct? Min of sales, min of max of sales, sum of sales. So you should be aware of this when you're writing, when you're taking a reference, this anywhere into the your calculation part that we discussed already about the when we discussed about conditional color. So Zn is one of the important function. Actually, when you are measure having null records, it replaces null with zeros. So where we have nulls, nulls, discounts are null for a few. Product name, leave it, no problem. Category, subcategory, profit discount. Okay, so what is the use of Zn? Zn is very important function which used to replace null values with zeros. Okay, and if it has a not null value, it returns not null value only. So it executes only for null execution. Okay, let's let's use a profit. Zn of a profit. Give the naming convention as a Zn. Okay, let's apply this Zn profit. Actually, there are no null profits. That's what you could not see that. So mm, let's try for the discount. Okay, so there are no null values actually. That's the reason you will not experience here. But in the calculations, when you are embedding, when you feel you have some null values that don't want to display in the report, that time you can use this Zn function. Okay, so like this the way the functions will work. You have to embed based on the requirement. So let me give you know the ASCII functions, right? Returns the ASCII code value of the first character in a string. So ASCII means American Standard Code Information Interchange. If you Google the ASCII codes, where you can find a table where you can able to see for each character what is the code, what is the ASCII code that is defined. This is a American code standard format. Okay. Oh wait. So for caps letter there is one value. Okay, for small letter a there is one value. So when you are representing caps letter a, that is a 65. When you are representing small letter a, that is a 97. So at the rate it has 64, space it has a 32. Like this the way this is just a information interchange formattings each character has its own derived number. Okay, so that you can identify using your ASCII function. Okay, so similarly you can try this ASCII authors. Using this you can find what is the ASCII output. You can try for any of the label, any of the symbol as well. Okay, so instead of it, let's try for other functions. This is the character functions. We know the str, right? Similarly, it converts the given integer ASCII code into a character. So char, what it is doing, for example, char ASCII is performing string into the ASCII code, the first letter converted into the ASCII code. For example, small a, it returned 97. Let's check small a, what is the value? ASCII code is 97, correct? Similarly, the char, which is converting your integer number to the ASCII code. Let's apply this. So it is returning string. That's the reason it is part of the dimensions. Let's drag this to the report. B, it is returning what I mentioned, 98. Yeah, if you look at 98 is letter B. Got it? So like this, the way you can able to use this ASCII functions. Actually, we don't use ASCII functions. It's complete based on specific requirement from the client end. Okay, so this is a contains function. What is the contains function? So contains is a function to verify whether specified substring is contained in the main string or not. So contains function output is a boolean expression, true or false. For example, let's place a category into the report. Contains, this is the contents. If you look at, I'm giving the string as a column category, comma, what I'm trying to find, I'm trying to find u or n, u or n. So just I'm trying to verify this substring, it's contained in any of the main strings. Let's apply this. As I said, we are not maintaining any statements. We are not maintaining a result of this one, because by default a function results a boolean expression whether true or false. If you want to manage this, you have to extend your calculation. Let's drag this to the report. URN is part of this category, so this is returned to remaining returned false. Got it? So similarly, contains, okay, ends with, ends with a given category, ends with what? Let's give es. Let's apply this. Drag to the report. True. I given es supplies es. It is ends with es. Okay. So like this the way you can understand the functions. So when you are doing this, it feels like it's comfortable. Okay, we can do this, but based on the requirement, the complexity you will get, I'll give the scenarios for that. Sorry. So this is the find function. What is the use of find? Returns the position of a substring within the string, or 0 if the substring isn't found. If the start argument is defined, any instances of the substring that appears before the start position are ignored. The first character in the string is position 1. Don't get confused. Let's try with an example. Find. I'm giving the string a category. I'm giving the name. Where is a repetitive value? For example, f. Okay, what I given f, right? So let's apply this. Find function returns a position of your substring character in the main string. Position of, so in which position this substring existed in the main string. So it returns obviously an integer value, correct? It is returning integer number. Let's remove everything. Instead of this, let's duplicate this. Okay, remove everything. Let's drag this to the report. Obviously it performs a sum. Okay, so if you look at 12,256, 2,201, even that many characters we don't have in the main string. In the main string, how many characters we have in the furniture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters. Furniture has 9 characters. Office 6, 6, 12, 13, 14 characters we have. It is showing 12,256. Why? What's the reason? What is the reason?
It's applied for entire subcategory.
Entire subcategory. Where is the subcategory?
I mean furniture.
Hmm.
In the furniture, uh, this many what we call subcategories. This many subcategories have F letters.
No. So here I given the category name. What I'm trying to find? I'm trying to find F. This is my substring. Position of F in the main string. If your subcategory, I mean, if your category have any character like F, that returns the position of the character. Otherwise, it has to return 0. Got it? Because in the technology, if you look at it don't have a character F. That's the reason it is returning 0. Whereas come to furniture and office supplies, it has F, but the count is not the expected value. The character count is very limited, but it is the result is in the thousands. As I said, when your function executing, the result will be applied for all underlying records. Furniture has how many records? Furniture has 2,201 records. Office supplies has 6,128. So technology is 1865. If you look at 0 is the result, correct? If 0 applied for 18,865 records, after summing of all these records, what is the value? 0. In this execution, it is working fine. So it makes some confusion. Yeah, f is not there, that's what it is returning 0. But f is there, why it is returning this value for this? It is executing properly. But you should understand, 0 applicable, it assigned 0 for all the records. 1865 records, it assigned 0. But after summing 0 for these many records, also output 0. But whereas comes to the office supplies, let's take this one. What we are finding? We are finding the substring f. So where it is positioned? It is positioned at 1, correct? Position starting from left to right. The first letter, the first character will be number 1. Okay, it verifies whether f is presented or not. Yes, f presented. Let's take this as a 1. Okay, the result is 1. 1 applied for how many records? 2201 records. 2201 records. So obviously what happens? Summing of 2201 records value is equal to 2201. Correct. But whereas comes to here, what is the f? F existed at a second character, correct? And also third character. So what it has to return? So to find out what is the exact value it is returning, let's make it as a dimension, so that find character is 2. F, how many records you have in underlying source? 6128. 6128 into 2, what is that value? 12256. Got it? Okay, so what you have to do, let's convert this to the dimension and discrete. Otherwise, where is a find, where is the find function? Otherwise, right click on it. Here directly you can do this, convert to dimension. Otherwise you can go with the aggregation, average. Okay, so you can go with the default properties, number format, number custom, go with the 0 decimal places. Okay, whenever you will use it, you will get a right value here. 120. Got it? So find what it is returning, substring f. So understand properly, cursor placed at character number 1. Okay, so when it is it is record by record, it's clear. For the first record, furniture, cursor placed at character number 1. Character number 1 is f. So f is f matching with the substring f. That's a reason it is returning 1. So the execution done for first record, it cursor moves down to the second record. Again the cursor placed at character number 1. The first character is o, it is mismatch, verifies for the second character f, it satisfies, returns 2. But there is one more f after second, so it is not verifying the second f, it is verifying first occurrence. Got it? So let's give find. The first character in the string is position 1. So this is only they mentioned the first character in the string is position 1. The first for example office supplies, first character is o, that is position number 1. Accordingly it takes it finds your substring. Okay, so returns the position of a substring within a string, or if the substring isn't found, if the start argument is defined any instances of okay. By default it is taking first position of f. I want to take second position of f. Let's try whether my calculation is correct or not. If you look at so start position you can define using the find function. Listen carefully. Start position you can define using your find function. If you're not specifying any start position, by default it takes 1. So the verification process begins from what? From position number 1. So I am defining position number 2. So my verification has to begin from position number 2. So where is that? O is the first character, right? Position number 1. Second is F, that is position number 2. Got it? So the cursor start verifying only from position number 2. So let's take second F. This takes as a position number 1 now. Okay, it verifies only, it starts from only second F onwards because I given position number start position as 2. When I given this, the first character itself satisfied with the F. That's the reason the output still remains same 2. So again, to identify the position of the number, it returns from the first character. Got it? Let's make it 3. Let's apply this. When I give 3, the position starts from third character, right? Second F. So let's assume cursor is at third character F. Okay, you are identifying for what? F. Yes, F satisfied with F. So it is positioned at which character? Third character. That is the result. Let's give 4. It's not like nth character you are finding. Got it? Nth character means so I mean in a string you might have f is couple of times it is available here. So it is not like you are trying to find second occurrence of f, third occurrence of f, fourth occurrence of f. It's not like that. It is you are defining for your function to start validation from which character. I'm defining my find function has to start from the character 4. 4 is I. Fourth character is I in office supplies. Correct? So function cursor is at fourth character. You are identifying the substring f. F is not that one. Next it moves to the fifth character, sixth, seventh till end. So there is no f identified. That's what it is returning 0. Got it? If you give 3, what happens? If you give 3, what happens? You are defining your function to start validation from the third character. By default, it takes from the first character. By default, it takes from the first character. So you are defining your start position of the inquiry with your specified number. I am specifying the number. Start the inquiry from third character. Third character. Third character is F here. So obviously F is satisfied. I mean my inquiry letter is F. My third character is also F. But what is that position of F in the main string? 3. Correct? What is the position of F in the main string? 3. If you give for 2, it verifies from the second character. So F satisfies. So obviously the second will be result. So what is the position of the F? 2. Hope you got it. Any doubt?
So it will take first occurrence, right?
By default, it takes first occurrence. So this is find function. It's not find nth. So it identifies a first occurrence of f, first occurrence of your substring. It's just a find function, but the start position you are defining here. When it identifies that character, it gives a position from the entire string. Got it? Any doubt?
Yeah, yes.
For example, this is one I given. So this is default execution. If you give one, or if you don't give anything also, that is fine. Let's remove. So both are same. So let's clarify for understanding purpose. So I'm executing only for office supplies because it has ifs. Okay. So what is the occurrence I am giving? I mean, what is the start position I am giving? One. What is the first position of your character? O. Correct. First letter is first character is O, right? So cursor at O. Here it start verifying for your substring F. Got it? So in the first character O, the cursor placed at first character O, it is not satisfied. Then cursor moves to the next character F. It is satisfied. So what is the position here? 2. Returns 2. If you give, I'm giving my position, my start find function has to start from the second character from the in the main string. First character is O. It won't start from the first character. It is going to start from the second character. Second character is F, right? So cursor placed directly at second character. You are searching for F. Yes, second character itself is F. So obviously, what is the position of the second character in the main string? Second. It is returning 2. Similarly, if I replace 2 with 3, the cursor placed at a third character. I am only defining with my find function. Cursor has to place at the third character. Cursor has to find first occurrence of F. So it has to start a verification from the third character. Obviously, as per my guidance, cursor placed at the third character F. So unexpectedly, the third character itself satisfies my condition. That is the first occurrence. So that position is what is that position in the main string? Third position. That's the reason it is returning third. Got it? So like the way it works. So if you give any after that, if you give fourth character is I, correct? So your verification process is starting from the fourth character. Remember this. Fourth character is I, dissatisfies. Cursor moves to the next character. C, dissatisfies. E, dissatisfies. Space, dissatisfies. S, U, P, P, L, I, E, S, all are dissatisfied. Obviously, it has to return 0. So from the fourth character, it did not find any F. That's the reason it is returning 0. It is not like we don't have a fourth F in the main string. That's the reason it returns 0. It's not like that. It is just a start position to inquire your substring in the main string. Start position of the character you are defining using your find function. Got it? So wait. This is about a find function. Find. Okay. Let's try with the -1. It takes mm, discrete. Okay, let's replace this. Let's rename this. Negative start position. Okay, so what I given here, -1. So when I give -1, what it identifies, it starts verifies f from the right side. Let's duplicate this. Just I'm checking whether how it is working or not. I don't think this negative will work for find, but leave it. It is not working. Negative sign is not working with the find function, but it works with other functions.
Try
Yeah,
zero. Try.
0. So we don't have 0 positions, right?
I
Position,
thought
the first
zero.
character position is 1.
Mm.
So it's not a 0. So -1 means, just my understanding. So 1 is by default it takes execution from the left. Okay. So if it takes just I'm trying to pass start verification from the right side. So for example, for office supplies, it starts from S, then E, I, L, like this. So the first occurrence of F is third position. But anyway, it is not taking this. So this negative signs is not working with the find function, but it works with other functions. Okay. So like this, the way we should understand about the function execution. Okay. So please do practice.
If it is not working, frame. If it is not working, it gives nulls or anything, right? But it giving the value. How that two comes when we giving the negative.
I didn't get you. Even you give the this one.
Negative, but it gives two, right? So
Actually, it is not taking negative. It is not at all considering that negative value. So it is taking as a positive value only.
mhm.
Got it? So find
Okay.
function does not work with the negative signs.
Okay, in
You
that case,
simply
in this
assume if you are
case,
passing -2, let's take you are passing, for example, wait, -3, you consider you are passing like a +3 here.
uh,
Uh, See, so it is not at all working. It is directly giving first position. It is not identifying what you are passing when you
okay,
give
okay.
negative sign.
Mm,
Got it? So you have to
mm.
pass only positive numbers here when you are working with the find. Okay. So
When the expression validation also showing correct only that expression, but it's not working.
which one? This
On the
negative starter.
below, validation is there, right? On the expression validation, bottom line. Open that expression editor. You can
Okay.
see in the calculation is valid.
Uh, so here you are passing a number, right? It is not
Hmm.
syntaxed like it has to pass only positive number. So they did not make like that. Okay. So the start position you can define. So you are defining like -1. It is also a number. That's what the calculation is valid.
Okay.
Okay. So they did not given the syntax line like because if they make change it might impact to other functions as well because there are many dependent functions which supports with the negative signs. So that we have to understand whether how it is working with this function with the sign allocation. Clear? So like this the way it works. So this is just example for find. Tomorrow we'll discuss about other functions so that you will get clarified. I'll give scenario cases tomorrow so that all string functions get clarified.